I've been involved with it, absolutely, from the law enforcement. I've arrested people for smoking marijuana, and now
I just got out.
Right. That's how we met. What up?
Cannabis. That's what up. Welcome to Manward in the Field. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Alex.
I guess I'm Andy.
And today, we're going to be talking about cannabis. Who's getting rich from cannabis?
So a lot of people are trying to get rich from cannabis today, and a few people actually are getting rich, and that's what we want to focus on.
If you look at any mainstream investing website, anybody who puts a single penny into a hemp stock right now is going to make their fortune. Yeah, so that's not true.
There's lots of folks right now that are claiming that, get rich quick schemes with hemp, and you look at it, a lot of them are the guys growing hemp or growing marijuana, the stuff that gets you high THC stuff up in Canada. But look around us, how many rich farmers have you seen out there? There's not many, and there's all these publicly traded companies growing hemp, but guess what? Everybody else is going to start growing that, and that's going to bring the market down. So when you're talking about getting rich from hemp, you got to pay attention to who's already getting rich from the agricultural side of things, and it's not going to be those big publicly traded companies.
Yeah, and I think one thing we need to clear up off here, and we'll be talking about this a lot more, but there's a big difference between hemp and marijuana. When we're talking about those things, hemp, marijuana, almost the same thing, but the key difference is the THC level. In order to be considered hemp, and definitely industrial or medical hemp, it needs to be 0.3% THC. The stuff isn't going to get you high unless you ingest a whole lot of it.
You can smoke tons of it and it won't do a thing.
Yes, anyway. So for the industrial applications and the medical applications, when we're talking about hemp, we're talking about CBD, we're not talking about getting stoned.
So hemp has all sorts of industrial uses. It's all over the web that Henry Ford created this car out of hemp. It's kind of a true story. The truth is the car is only half, not even half, but partially made out of hemp. But there's thousands of uses for industrial hemp. The health side of hemp, thanks to your government, we're way behind on CBD and the medical side of, we've all heard medical cannabis. We're not even getting started yet. Right now in America, there's basically three main crops. You have your corn, soybean, and wheat. But thanks to hemp
Wheat or weed?
Wheat.
Okay, sorry.
Wheat for now, weed coming soon. So, I bought this farm specifically for cannabis.
Oh, so you're going to be getting rich off of cannabis?
I hope so. If everything works out, I'm getting real rich from cannabis.
You have a lovely hempire here.
The hemp that we're going to grow here is not industrial hemp. So you see, organic lettuce growers, that sort of thing, where they're cutting the buds off their tomato plants. That's how you grow, high CBD, the real good medical stuff. That's what we're going to grow here.
It's also not cheap.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're looking at it.
How much were you paying per seed, or thinking about paying per seed?
Right now, I've gotten quotes as high as $2 per seed. So
per seed.
A 1 or 2 acre field is going to cost you $10,000 to $20,000 just to plant. So the companies that can bring those prices down, the seed companies, are obviously getting rich. Those prices are going to come down, but there's so much infrastructure and development around this. That's where we need to be focusing.
So what got you so excited and motivated you to put your money where your mouth is?
So
here?
It started with me talking with a local surgeon. So this is a guy that knows the medical system in and out. And he is investing big money, millions of dollars in hemp and CBD. And not only did he buy a processor, he bought the company that makes the processors. So he's talking about this guy, scientist at Penn State, who just did research on cannabinoids.
They're just kind of like the effects on the endocannabinoid system.
Exactly, but he's looking at prostate cancer specifically and found that it's not THC, it's not CBD, but there's this other mechanism in there that's working and showing really good promise for prostate cancer. And so he's taking that, but here's the crazy thing is he can't study it. He has to go to the DEA and get a license so he can study it in the laboratory. It's crazy.
Yeah, so you have to play by the rules right now. That's kind of hamstringing people who actually want to have meaningful change within this industry and create opportunities to make money.
I've been involved with it, absolutely, from the law enforcement. I've arrested people for smoking marijuana, and now
I just got out.
That's how we met. But so now my opinion, looking at the truth, and that's what we're here for, is to strip it all away and look at the truth behind, what's going on, the propaganda from the government, all
You're looking
that.
at 86 years of government propaganda making it seem like smelling hemp is going to send you into off to the lunatic fringe. And then you have a film in the 30s, a lot of our older watchers or our film buffs might know.
Film.
This film in the 30s called Reefer Madness. I mean, look at this clip. Look at how they paint what it means to be high or to be exposed to marijuana. This is government propaganda wrapped in Hollywood Hollywood sheen.
We've been in the dark about it for the last 68 years, 70 years. We're finally coming out of it, and that's why the investing side is so promising, because nobody knows the truth behind it all. The medical side's way behind, the industrial side's way behind, the government's way behind, and that's what's so interesting. And watching the investment side of it on who's getting rich, it's just all going to be, we're at the fundamental, the foundational stage of it all.
This is beyond conspiracy theory, okay? People may be watching this and thinking, oh, no way would the government ever try and keep me from something simply because it's in the government's best interest. And that may or may not be true, but there was clearly a smear campaign against marijuana, against cannabis. There is a very, very salacious, very torrid, very racist history. Yeah. I mean, the whole naming of marijuana. I mean, can you get it? That's a crazy story.
Yeah, I won't go too far into it, but we call it marijuana. It used to be referred to as cannabis, but then Mexican immigrants were coming up and they were bringing marijuana with them and scaring everybody, and so we started to call it marijuana. We even dropped some letters to make it sound even more Mexican and even more dangerous. And then as the decades unfolded, it was those damn hippies that were smoking it, the outlaws, the gateway drug. And turns out this is all wrong. This stuff can be healthy. Yeah, it'll get you high, but look, we have wine in Pennsylvania. Here in Pennsylvania, we buy our liquor from the state, right? And so if I go buy a $90 bottle of Merlot, look at me, my nose is in the air. But if I smoke a good doobie, and is that what you call it these days?
I think that's what you would have called it in the 60s when you were buying from a Mexican immigrant.
But if I go smoke something that's been proven healthy, I'm an outlaw, and I spend $10 on I don't know what the price is.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're trying to do this on the up and up, so I understand why you don't know what a dime bag is. The point is, there's clearly been an active smear campaign against marijuana.
It's incredible.
Now the fog is being lifted, and it's creating a humongous investing opportunity for people who know what the hell they're doing, because there is a lot of misinformation that's coloring even today what hemp and marijuana are, which, by the way, they're not the same thing.
Yeah, even investors are, keep referring to being in the dark about this. Investors are having the wool pulled over their eyes. And so here's my challenge. Leave in the comments below. Tell me a publicly traded company that's getting rich off of growing corn, growing soybeans. So all these penny stocks in Canada that are growing marijuana now, it's going to start happening here. That market's going to get undercut. So it's not the farmers. We got, within miles of here, we have corn growers, soybean growers. None of them are getting rich. But the people that are getting rich, it's going to be the companies. Big Pharma's going to get in on this. Believe it or not, hate them as much as you want to. Monsanto.
There's no roundup for hemp yet. There hasn't been some mass market weed killer that's going to actually help farmers grow their hemp.
We're so far behind with that. The horticultural side, if you want to call it that, is so far behind. The people that do that are going to make a ton of money. So I'm going to make money here by looking at the CBD side, growing really high quality plants. And that's not what's happening with these publicly traded companies now. So I'm looking at the guys that are going to help me do that.
You think you're looking at this from a more grassroots perspective?
I guess you could say that if you want to. But
I had to.
You did.
Your point is that it's all of the people who are, beyond pick and shovel. These are the people that are really facilitating the growth of this industry, taking it from the Wild West, which it really is, into a real viable industry.
The pick and shovel thing is good. So, everybody went to Alaska and they made money at the bottom of the Klondike Trail selling picks and shovels and Levi jeans to the people going up. But this is before that. This is the steamboat going to Alaska. We're at that very beginning stage.
You're talking about, what could ultimately be, there's going to be the Amazon of weed. There's going to be the Walmart of weed. I mean, think about in the 90s when the commercial internet launched and people were laughing because Jeff Bezos had a book selling company out of his garage.
Out of his garage.
There's going to be companies exactly like this that you're looking at today and you're thinking, what's the long-term potential for this? There is no precedent set. There is infinite growth potential. We're not even nearing the peak of the adoption curve here. People don't know all of the benefits that we can have. Like, scientists don't know all the benefits that exist as a result of your endocannabinoid system because they haven't been able to research it.
That's the cool thing. So you mentioned the endocannabinoid system. We just figured this out in the 60s, and in like 1996 we started putting this together. And we're years behind. You know, Israel's kicking our butt, and it's going to be coming to America, going to be coming to big pharma, and it's super exciting. 10 years from now, CBD and the health side of hemp, cannabis is going to be the #1 thing in the medical industry, guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. And the smartest people in our society right now haven't been able to study it.
Think long term. That's where the big money is going to be made, the big reliable money that you can put $1,000 into something now and pull 100 grand out of it, 10 years from now. That's where the money's going to be, big ag, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is America's agricultural future. We're sitting on it right here in the field.
And that's exactly the point. We're trying to give you the know-how to invest in this very understandably confusing sector. It's been overregulated for decades. And now we're going to give you the tools that you need to make money and not lose the farm.
Cheers to that.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe and go ahead and click the notifications tab to make sure that you're notified every single time we release a new video. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.